Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Antoinette, the owner and main designer of Canary Knits. I've been knitting and crocheting for about 25 years now, and I love working with bright, bold color. And this week I'm going to be talking about learning how to work for myself. I recently took the leap and started freelancing and going to markets and selling my things online. And so I do have a part-time job that I'm really enjoying, but as far as like my full-time income, I am figuring out how to work for myself right now. And it has been interesting, it's been terrifying, and it's been pretty cool. So thanks for joining me. Stay tuned. After the market, I got right to work with not much direction. I decided right away that I needed to make a monster mask, and I did that in about a day while I was processing just like being social and being at an event and like my wins and losses, if you will. One thing I'm definitely stressing and definitely having a tough time with as far as working for myself is time management, because I knit and crochet from the time I wake up pretty much to the time I go to bed, with breaks in between to do things, but it is like my comfort and my joy and most of what I do. And so now that I'm getting paid to do that sometimes, and also I'm a slow crafter, I'm not really sure how to balance my time, my interests, my passion projects with my work projects, and I feel a little burnt out in some ways on certain projects. Like my Luxe beanie, I've made 4 of them in the past 3 weeks, which is great because it normally takes a month. When I'm working full time, it takes me about a month to make one, and I'm so happy with that. But I am getting just a little tiny bit burnt out on making them. My plan right now is to hopefully do a market every month, and over the summer do farmers market every week. And I'm already getting inventory ready for all of that, but because I'm pretty new to this, I don't really know how much inventory I need, right? And inventory also requires yarn, and like I've said in previous videos, I have lots of small amounts of yarn, but not really enough to make like sweaters or clothing like I like, or dresses or things like that, without making them really, really scrappy, which is a look, but not necessarily my look. I really should be working on holiday presents because there's 6 days until Christmas, but instead I'm freehanding this cardigan that I've had to rip out like 2 or 3 times, and it is infuriating me. I have an issue where I love giant sleeves. I love like fantasy sleeves, bell sleeves, fairy looks. Final Fantasy is like a huge influence of mine. I just love oversized, gigantic sleeves, but I was specifically trying to design a cardigan that would take less time to make so that I could offer some more affordable options at markets. And this cardigan ended up being anything but, because the sleeves alone took me 2.5 weeks, and I ran out of yarn and had to order more yarn. And then in the end, I ended up having to rip out the sleeves anyway. It's been a little bit maddening. I'm very disappointed right now. I'm frogging. I made some giant sleeves for an experimental cardigan that I was working on, and I decided when I was done that the sleeves are just simply too big. So I'm frogging, and I feel like I could cry because this took about a week and a half, and I had to order more yarn for it. So I had a lot of momentum going on the sleeves. Well, the whole thing has been kind of a fail, right? I started working with this black yarn, and I made like the body, and then I realized I wasn't going to have enough black yarn for the sleeves. So then I had my roommate pick out the yarn, and she picked this really pretty turquoise, and then I had a lot of momentum going on the sleeves, and then they just got way too big, and I knew that they were too big. I could see with my eyes that they were too big, but I decided to keep going, and I thought they would be a little bit like wings. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy games, and they have a lot of characters with really gigantic sleeves. And so I thought it would kind of have that effect, but in reality, it just ended up being too big. So now I'm frogging. If you follow me on TikTok or YouTube Reels, you've probably seen that I'm frogging because I'm upset about it, man. It's like, honestly, it's like probably like 30 or 40, I don't know how many hours of work it is. 20, maybe 25, 30 hours of work on the sleeves. But I mean, that was like while I was doing other things, and I always have multiple projects going, so it's not that the whole time. But it still did take up a considerable amount of time, so I'm pretty bummed. But that is what happens when you are trying to level up your craft game. I started working on this because I was thinking about what if I could make something that's like a sweater that's like more affordable. Here it is without the cuff. That's a big sleeve. But yeah, that's how it happened. I basically made a vest and then added sleeves to it, but I wanted the sleeves to be balloon sleeves, and then they got a little bit too balloony. And now I'm frogging. It happens. And now I feel like I have no momentum on this project because I don't even want to like work on it. But also I'm really obsessed with it and want to finish the sleeves. It's funny how that could happen. You could simultaneously be really interested in something and not want to work on it. I could figure out how to even unravel here. I think an upcoming topic for videos will be the project I wanted to make, the project I was making in my head versus the project that I actually ended up with, because those two things are not the same. So the first thing I'd really like to work on in terms of working for myself is time management. And the second thing is pushing my creativity, really making products that are well tested, stand the test of time, are very solid. It's super important to me that my stuff is durable, but also that looks like something that I would wear and something that I would use. I want my products to look like me. And I'm not really worried about having designs that don't appeal to everyone. In the words of the very wise Dita Von Teese, you can be the sweetest peach on the tree, but some people just don't like peaches. And I feel that very much approves to fiber arts. You can have the coolest stuff in the world, but it's not going to appeal to everybody. And that's okay. I totally understand, especially like myself. I have a lot of like sensory or tactile issues. So like not every hand knit garment is going to be comfortable on everybody, and I totally understand that. I'm not trying to appeal to everybody, but the special people that do like find my products interesting and like a good fit, I'm like so happy to connect with them. Another thing I'd really like to work on is consistency, and I haven't had very much of a chance to show this to myself or other people, mostly myself, because I've been freelancing for about a month or two now, and it is the holiday season, so I know that there is a bit of a rush now and it's not going to be as busy as it is right now. But I would like to be consistent in continuing to post things with a great frequency, continuing to post reels and TikToks, and of course posting YouTube videos. So my goal is to work on my time management, work on creativity in products and like inventory, and work on my consistency. Firm ways that I feel I can achieve these things are by utilizing my planner. I am on my 5th year of using a passion planner. I'll probably make a video about this, but it really helps me stay on track when I use my planner. Another way I can work on these things is to develop a posting schedule. I know a lot of my favorite fiber artists post regularly, and I'd like to be someone that posts regularly. It's always been a challenge for me in the past, but I think now that I'm working part-time, I can handle it. Another thing I can do is to utilize a queue tool for posting schedules. So all of these are firm ways that I feel I can achieve these things. So when you're a small business and you have a bestseller, you actually are making the bestseller over and over and over again. Who knew? Just kidding. I love making this hat, but I was feeling a little bit tired of it at this point. This is the 3rd time I've made this hat in a month. I always feel like such a badass when I'm working with double pointed needles. I think it looks so awesome, and the way it finishes hats is really lovely. Thanks so much for joining me. I have a million things to make and a million things to figure out, so I'm going to get doing that. But if you like, comment, subscribe, I'll be so happy to interact with you, and I hope everyone's having a great holiday season.